Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown. I'm Drew. I'm your host for tonight, and I will be the only person it appears to be on this episode. So this is going to be a very strange one, to say the least, since I normally don't do this stuff alone, especially live streaming on my own. Is that I never would ever do this. But before we get into the Knicks victory and kind of over the Sixers and go over everything, of course, our overlords at BetOnline. I have to read their sponsor. So BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from the NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with the odds, stats, and more. For every game, every play, and every win, BetOnline, the game starts here. And of course, there's the strict.land, the home website. You can always support us on our Patreon, which would be patreon.com/thestrickland, or that big giant banner on our website. You do the different tiers to see all the different podcasts and content that we have. I do takes from obvious bozos. That's on the $6 tier. You can get exclusive articles from Matthew Miranda for the $9 tier, the Stricken Roll as well. You get to join the Discord to have discussions with us, lively chats, all that sort of stuff. So definitely check that out. And let's talk about the game real quick. Finally get a win. It probably wasn't the win that many people wanted, given the fact that the Sixers have, I think it was the sixth worst, eighth worst record. NBA, they're a lottery team. And after coming off the two losses to the Celtics and the Cavs, this could have been probably a little better, but I will focus on the good instead of no, I actually probably can't focus on just the good because there was a notable bad which was coming out of halftime. But the Knicks did come out and start the game pretty much, what they should have done, what they should have been doing the past couple games, right? Like actually taking their opponent seriously, competing, cutting, passing, moving, kind of all like the basic basketball 101 type of stuff, which was great to see. Mikal went on a heater. I think he had 19 points in the first quarter, which was or 18 or 19, one of the two. She had 20, but he missed a free throw. But like that was great to see. We saw Jalen passing. We saw the defense connect. My boy Ariel Hukporti got his first start. I thought he played very well. He got injured, unfortunately. I think they said he sprained his knee, um, which is upsetting because that meant a lot more Precious Achiuwa minutes. Precious did, I will say he was relatively fine, more on the defensive side than anything else. But yeah, also like that first half was really good. The Sixers definitely were not playing well. I will say that. I think overall they still didn't play too well. They kind of caught a little fire in the second half, but nothing nothing absolutely too crazy. Because if you just look at like their stat line, especially like the Sixers stat line, which is very funny, very amusing to me. Like Tyrese Maxey did, go off, quote unquote, go off in the second half, and he did play better. But overall, though, he was 12 for 32, 0 of 10 from 3 point with 30 points and five assists. He made his free throws that, and Paul George was 9 of 20, but he was 4 from 9 from uh from three. Kelly Oubre was the main culprit, especially on offense for the 76ers, which is always fun. It's always fun to watch Kelly Oubre be very efficient, play well on a team that's going nowhere. It's like a very signature Kelly Oubre type of uh type of thing. But no, but like we can get let's go back to the first quarter. We saw the Knicks play with a lot more purpose, which we like, actually like purpose and motivation. The opponent definitely helps, right? The quality of the opponent definitely helps. But that second, the second half was rough, especially at the start of the third quarter. The the Sixers made a very simple adjustment that all the teams, especially the Celtics and the Cavs, have really kind of harped on, which is just force the ball to Precious Achiuwa, right? Like that was kind of like the game plan again in the third quarter. And the Knicks don't have any sort of counter response, something that they can do to do that when teams force them to give the ball to Precious, and you kind of see them, they just kind of stand there and just hope Galen Brunson kind of bails them out, right? That's what it was, and then that's how the Sixers got into that cut into that lead like slowly but surely, right? They were forcing turnovers um on defense, and yeah, like that was a big thing for for him, but the Knicks stuck it out. Fortunately, the Knicks do have I think it's the second time, the Clutch Year award out, or it could have been this could be the first time. I don't remember. It's a dumb award, but it's not going to be a dumb award when Jalen Brunson wins it, because of course we're going to be like, this is the best award, better than the MVP, all that type of hyperbole. But he definitely saved this team once again from from what was a loss. I mean, the Sixers got the lead. I think they got up the lead to like 4 or 5 down the stretch. Like they came back. They played well. And but fortunately, like, we got Jalen Brunson, and Tyrese Maxey is, for all intents and purposes, a Joel Embiid merchant, which is probably one of the worst type of merchants that you can be in this league, being a Joel Embiid merchant, just kind of thriving off that. Uh, Maxey took a horrific three to try to like really, that was it. I think it was either tie the game, continue the lead. It was in clutch time, and it was terrible brick, absolutely terrible shot, and luckily the Knicks got the rebound and everything along those lines. So that was, that was the game. It was a bounce back win. I think we should take it. Take victories where we can, try to find the good in it, which, as annoying as it is seeing the Knicks kind of flounder on offense because they don't have anything ultimately going for them. Like, Precious did come off the bench with Huck Porty. Ultimately he had to leave the game, and he was getting his blocks. He played some good defense. He got some strong rebounds. He finished the game, 3 of 6, 7 points, 4 blocks, 6 rebounds. He even had 2 assists. He did pretty well. Um, Even though one thing that actually was surprising, and I don't know if it like came out in the game, because I know it certainly didn't come out in the game for me as I was watching it, was OG had 9 rebounds, which I thought was very funny, because the missed 3-point shooting definitely kind of stands out for OG as he's coming back from his foot injury. But he got 9 rebounds, which is shocking because OG and Mikal in the previous 2 games combined only had 2 rebounds combined together. Um, Mikal fortunately got 2 rebounds tonight, which is amusing because I don't even remember Mikal Bridges even rebounding the ball at all. So that was good to see. Uh, I think Josh Hart got his 17 rebounds. He always plays well against the Sixers in that respect. That, to be honest, I didn't. Josh Hart, had one of his kind of like brain fart games. He had some really bad turnovers, some really, not just bad to like the bad live ball turnovers, which really kill you. Like bad passes, like out of bounds or anything like that. Any sort of dead ball turnovers, they stink, but they're not as bad as like live ball turnovers. And he had some really bad ones, especially in the second half of the game. But he rebounded well. He made some clutch plays. He had actually, so it looks like 7 turnovers for Josh Hart, which makes sense because he just turning the ball over left and right, up and down, all that sort of stuff uh, with him. But he got a couple. He had a good putback. He uh, he did miss a free throw. Jalen Brunson also missed a free throw in uh in clutch time. In crunch time, I'm I don't like that at all. The missed free throws. It's very very annoying to uh to see. And I that's yeah. So I'm gonna check out a couple comments that we have right now. We got some quotes that looks like the our athletic reporter who blanking on his name, James Edwards, I think his name, third. Tibbs on OG defensively, he's been fantastic offensively. It takes some time to get in rhythm back after missing time. Cities believes he's heading in the right direction in that regard. OG was playing some good defense. He had a couple good deflections. He did play well. I would say that he had two steals. He didn't have any blocks, but he got some key moments. The offense is going to come around. He's still very awkward. OG when drive not just driving, but like on these like fast breaks. He For someone his size and his strength and athleticism, he doesn't come off as like always like the most coordinated person. It's both frustrating and humorous to watch OG kind of navigate those uh those plays because he came up limping after he traveled and the Sixers challenged the play and then did unfortunately come off, did unfortunately touch him and the Sixers won the challenge. Again, very unfortunate. I was happy that the Sixers didn't win their second challenge because Breen was very much like Josh Hart touched them on the wrist, and it was very, to me at least, clearly like that type of like marginal contact type of nonsense that officials like to use now when they're like, it was a foul, but it wasn't like a strong enough foul, so it's going to say it's marginal contact, that type of stuff. So it was really nice to see the Knicks get the benefit of the doubt on one of those calls, and seeing Nick Nurse just be absolutely incensed always does warm my heart because he is very much he's a big time like he really is like a crybaby, right? Like he just is consistently whining. He's consistently yelling. He's always screaming. He always comes off unhinged. And I don't know if he leads the league in technicals. I don't understand how he doesn't get a tech. If this is who he is, I'm not going to pretend like I'm watching the Sixers regularly. That team is dry. I would not want to watch them regularly. So if Sixers fans are doing it, bless their heart. Uh, he must have the most technicals because I know if I was a ref, I wouldn't put up with any of that nonsense that Nurse does on the court. Absolutely, absolutely terrible. Like I would never tolerate that. He seems so insufferable, and he's definitely the person who always makes the excuse that like someone else. It was always someone else's fault rather than like taking the responsibility or anything. Like that's who Nick Nurse really comes off as, and that is someone I wouldn't be able to deal with. Um, so it does look like, according to Jordan Bubb, that Jalen Brunson passes Bernard King in 30-point games by Nick. That's very, very impressive. Jalen Brunson just is continually just going up and up and up the charts, all these charts, um, with these records for everything Knicks. It's wonderful to see. He's always in. It's either like Bernard King or Clyde Frazier and Jalen Brunson and that type of stuff. It's wonderful to have as a fan kind of watching this right now. We should be very grateful that Jalen Brunson is on the Knicks and is as good as he is. So it's great to see. Kevin Pierre has as much as we rag on Doc, man, Nurse has been running a disaster class in coaching. I mean, Nurse did do I would say the very basic game plan against the Knicks, the very basic adjustment that the much better teams have kind of figured out very, very quickly is force the ball to Achua, right? Like, don't let Jalen Brunson beat you. And if the Knicks begin to stagnate, which they did in the third quarter, right? Like a lot of like one of the main reason why McHale was so effective in the first quarter was he was just doing very basic things, right? Cutting, getting to the corner when he needs to, getting into the passing lanes for Jalen Brunson to make the pass, getting open, running in transition, that type of stuff. The Knicks stopped doing that in the third quarter. If you want to say it was the Sixers defense, if you want to say it was the Knicks stagnating, you can go either or. We just, we can be like Tibbs, watch the game over 3 or 4 times, be the judge, but the fact of the matter is they still stagnated, and we saw that, and the Sixers did a great job getting the ball out of Jalen's hands, forcing it into the middle and forcing the ball to Achua, and I think that is a very sound game plan for, uh, for any team, and Nurse did do that. So I I I don't wanna say he's a disaster class. If anything, he's whiny, um, doesn't come off as a great leader because he's someone who doesn't, um, take any blame. So, in that case, I would say the coaching is bad, but I do think he has a good mind there. The, they did give I think the broadcast, like, Monica and Breen gave credit to the out of bounds play where Maxey got the point. He starts in the backcourt and he's running, like full speed. I don't ever understand why, like in a situation like that, when the specifically when the Sixers are down, I do not understand why any team would guard Tyrese Maxey in the backcourt. Because they put McHale on him and they put him in the backcourt, and Maxey's faster than McHale, so of course he's gonna blow by him. I I don't understand why just let him get the ball in the backcourt and just wait for him to, uh, to dribble up the court. I that and, in the broadcast, like, Breen and Monica were like, "No, this is such a great play. This is the pet play that the Sixers run," and that's great and all. And they either either what I'm saying is so dumb and wrong, or, like, or the solution's so simple and, like, no one sees it. Because 'cause I'm like, I don't understand why anyone would be in the backcourt with Maxey. Just let him dribble the ball out. He has to take time off the clock, and instead you're giving them the advantage by doing this kinda, like, pitch and catch type of thing. Doesn't make any, doesn't make any sense to, to me, at all. Um, so yeah, Jalen Brunson went, I like that Jalen Brunson went, 15 for 16 from the foul line. I don't know if that, he's definitely not gonna beat any of the foul grifting allegations. I wouldn't be surprised if on social media, especially from, like, Sixers fans are doing that because he got a couple guys. He got Kelly Oubre and I forget who the other guy was. He, uh, he got in the air with that, the pump fake, and then the defender jumping in um, a non-vertical line, and he hits someone, and then Jalen Brunson goes up, he kinda leans in, goes up. He gets that type of foul all the time. A lot of people call that foul grifting. I understand the argument, but it's also one of those things that you're kinda, like, taught at basketball at, like, a really young age, right? It's the idea of getting your defender in the air and drawing contact. So there was that. I think one last thing I really wanna, point out or at least get to was the fact that, former Knick Quentin Grimes was a the complete no-show. It was very apparent watching the game just how much better, like, the Knicks specifically, like, "No, we're keeping Deuce." They unfortunately had to give up, like, quickly to get OG, but it was very amusing just to see, like, how much better Deuce McBride has become as a player than Quentin Grimes, and because Grimes was, 1 for 4. He made 1 3, he made some lucky ass 3, and, like, that was it. He had a steal, he had a block, he had a rebound in a relatively completely invisible game. To see his, like, decline right? Because he had the moment, he had the steal against Jimmy Butler in the playoffs in the second round, injured. He had a moment. He was the starter, the start, the start. He was the starter last year. Like he started, and he lost his job to Dante, and he's just completely fallen off a cliff, which is crazy to consider because that I know a number of Knicks fans were high on him. I know I was specifically, right, because he kinda did all, like, the little things that you want from a 2 guard, right? He had the high release, he had the quick trigger, he had the quick first step, he played defense, he kinda did all, like, the things you want in that type of archetype, and ever he just doesn't have it, and he just ever since Dante took his job, he's now floundering and just, you would think this is some sort of, like, revenge game, type of thing, and he nothing, like, didn't show up at all. So that was amusing, but also, Tyrese Maxey. I love when players specifically score then they take more shots than they score points. That is usually one of my favorite stat lines because it just shows how much of a like the inefficient chucker stereotype always comes up in those type of things. I do appreciate just seeing the Sixers, specifically like Tyrese Maxey, uh, get that. I don't care that everyone's like, "He brings so much joy, he's trying to be a leader, or he's a superstar or star," all that, like, I don't think he is, I sometimes love seeing the demise of people, and it's great to see that, and it's great to see that, we as the Knicks fans get to watch the real clutch player of of the year in Jalen Brunson on a regular basis. So, the next game is going to be against I believe, Memphis Grizzlies on Friday, and hopefully, honestly, if there's one thing I'd like to see, I don't know how they're gonna do it. They just kinda need to. I don't know if it's they actually practice and they start working on things, but they can't go into Memphis, uh, shooting 19 threes. Like, they really can't. They not in this league anymore. Like, I'm not really big on, like, I'm not like a person who embraces the um, chucking threes. I don't like that philosophy, but, like, with that said, just you need to find a way to get good three-point looks, especially kinda, like, in this league. Because like, when teams are going for on a run like the Sixers were doing throughout, like, 3rd quarter, like, you need those three-point shots to, like, demoralize your opponent, and the Knicks don't always, do that. So, like, Mikal only had 5 threes. I'm pretty sure he took at least 4 of them in the first half. He may have had one in the second half. Jalen Brunson only had 5. Like, these guys really gotta like more they gotta shoot more. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they need to. Like, they need to if they really want to compete to uh to just make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Kind of at this point, they need to get that 3-point volume. So hopefully we see that in Memphis. So this was again, let's just it's a win against the rival, the hated 76ers. We get to see them lose, and that's always fun. And that's gonna be the show since it's just me. I've rambled on long enough. So as I floundered for a good 24 minutes on my own, uh, that's gonna be the show. Maybe I'll see you Friday, maybe not. I don't know who's gonna be here, but I just hope that it's another victory nonetheless. That's the rundown, and we will see you Friday night.